This is Sean with Voices of Speedway Animal Rescue, and I'm speaking with the founder. How are you doing today, Joanie, and where are you located currently?
I am currently located in Speedway, Indiana.
You've got an event coming up that we're going to touch on, but just describe a little bit about your nonprofit and when you started it.
Well, Speedway Animal Rescue was started 18 years ago, almost 19 in May. And my goal was to rescue, vet, and adopt the animals that came through our town that we had such a huge problem with.
All right, so you've told me that over the years, you've saved over 1,000 strays, and even in the pandemic, there was a lot of people that surrendered their animals. If you could kind of describe that and just how that's kind of changed the scope of how you have to handle saving the animals.
Well, it's absolutely, COVID has changed everything. It's up the game tenfold. What once was, 100 animals a year that we were taking in doubled. We had animals tied up in the back of our vet clinic's office with notes to their collars. COVID has been horrible. Like, I thought the last 18 years was something. When COVID hit, it changed everybody's world. It was really rough. It's been tough on everybody, but the rescues, the non-for-profits have been hit extremely hard.
Okay, so what we're going to do to try to help that, and we've got some major hitters coming in that are going to assist in this event on February 11th. It's going to be at the Speedway American Legion, and there's going to be a few people that are known in the city. One, you've got Patty Spittler, and you were able to deal with Patty on the air a few different times. What were the situations? Was it Pet Pals or Indie Style? How did you get connected with Patty?
Well, Patty and I have a friend in common, Twyla Snyder, actually, who used to work with Patty on the news. And me and Patty just kind of got thrown together because we love animals so much. She loved my passion and I loved hers. And we both carry that passion still to this day. And Patty has really helped a lot. She's been with me since 2015, I believe, as in all in to help. She donates her books so we can hopefully raise some money at our events. She has me on the air. Yeah, the pictures you're looking at were a really fun time. One was during the National Puppy Bowl, and we were just kind of hanging out, having a good time, and I brought a puppy to that puppy bowl. And that puppy was adopted by friends of Patty. And the other picture, I was on Indie Style, and we adopted Hap right after we were on the air. It was a pretty great day.
That's great. Yeah, and she's the host and producer for Pet Pals TV, which I believe is syndicated in markets around the country. Mm-hmm. We have a race legend that also is going to be involved, and it's Alistair Jr. He won the Indy 500 2 times. Why don't you talk a little bit about Al's passion for animals?
Oh, gosh. It's huge. His heart is so huge. I'm a hometown girl, so I'm a local. So racing's in my blood. My first race that I attended, I was 3 years old, and I have a picture of that somewhere. But I go as far back as even watching Al's dad, Al Sr., and the entire family is actually huge animal lovers. But Al himself, I mean, truly, his heart's the size of Indiana. It truly is. Him and his wife. And they're responsible pet owners. That's rare in this world. And they go tenfold for their animals, which is really, really nice to see in my business.
All right, and you're also going to have some entertainment. Rich Hardesty, Talk about your connection with Rich.
Rich is awesome. Rich adopted a husky from me named Aspen. I actually met Rich through another president for another husky rescue, and she kind of threw us together, and we have been best pals ever since. We have this, both of our hearts are in the right place. We're there to save animals, and Rich's heart is like no other. And when he plays that guitar, his passion just comes out in his music. And it brings us all together, hopefully to raise a lot of money.
Yeah, we actually put a thing together. I was able to interview Bo Duke at the racing convention downtown, and Bo's theme song for the Dukes of Hazzard is basically the most requested song that Rich has done around the planet over the years. So we kind of did a tribute to him, and that actually connected us with KJ. She has her own show. She was on the Smiley Show back in the day, but now it's KJ Today show, and she is a very big advocate for animals and does a lot of spots on TV promoting rescues and ways to help animals and tips. And she also has her own book, so she's going to be there with us. And this is going to be at the American Legion. And I know that you started working there or helping out like 20 years ago, and your husband also helps out there currently. Is that right?
That is correct. So I started working there, and next thing I know, I start seeing all my neighbors there, and I see some people I graduated with, and it just kind of became second home to me. And I'm no longer working there, but we go there quite often. My husband is maintenance there, and I've adopted a couple dogs to Dave the King Wilson, who is the manager at the American Legion Post 500. And it's a really great place to be.
It's right across from the track as well. It's like basically right at 20th. So if people are going to get there, you could come down Georgetown south on it to get to it, or you'd have to take 16th Street just past the roundabout on the Crawfordsville. It's the first right, which is Cord Street. Basically, take that up to 20th, and it'll take it over to Georgetown.
Correct.
All right. So this is an article that it basically showcases you being awarded a national award for pet rescue. Can you just talk about this for a second?
Oh, absolutely. So my neighbors apparently got together, trying to help the animals somewhere that was not prepared to take on animals, and they weren't really prepared for a normal shelter type style, and until I came onto the picture. And so I opened people's eyes, and our whole entire town has came together, and my town apparently put me in for the Good Neighbor Award, which is a national award, and I won. And they just really wanted to let me know that I was appreciated for everything I had done in their town. And I'm not done.
That's beautiful. All right. So here's a shot of your team. The gentleman in the middle, you said he's the president of the local Porsche club, but he also handles your website, and he's presenting a check to you. And the woman holding the dog is your current president. She's kind of basically stepped in to help you run the whole show, and her name is Anna Weber. If you want to talk a little bit about this situation and why the check was presented.
Absolutely. So in this picture that you're looking at, the president of the Porsche Club is presenting us a check for an event they held for us to raise money. It was an incredible amount that I cannot even begin to thank them enough. And the lady to the left, or the lady standing next to him holding the dog, that is Anna Weber. And she is someone that had been mentoring me for the last 9 years. I don't have very good health. And after 18 years, running a rescue is really hard work and it takes a lot out of you. But it's also my passion, it's my dream, and it's my legacy on this earth. And I needed to find somebody's heart that can match my heart. And that was Anna. And Anna has managed to put everything right where it should be and set us up for a really good future. And it's made my heart really calm with knowing that Speedway Animal Rescue has a legacy after me, and Anna is the one to carry that on. And I literally cannot be grateful enough to her. Truly, Sean.
That's beautiful. And this is your daughter, and she unfortunately passed away over the holidays, but she helped you get this thing started. Her name is Whitney. Can you just talk about her passion for the rescue a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. When I started this rescue, you can't just run a rescue and do it without your family. If anything, you need your family's permission, because it takes, I did put in for 18 years, sometimes 16 to 18 hours a day, every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I still, to this day, have not taken a vacation in 18 years. To this day, I have not left my town because I can't. But my family stood behind me. And if my family wouldn't have stayed behind me, I wouldn't have been able to be where we are to this day. Whitney was a huge part of that. And even the last 2 weeks of her death, she rescued 2 dogs and 2 cats. So I raised my baby girl well, and I'm very grateful to my family.
That's beautiful. So here's a little bit of city help. This police officer, if you can kind of explain what the backstory of this situation is. And I know Chester is the dog there and ended up with that family of the other dogs, and just kind of talk about this situation that was back in 2007.
This is one of my very first abuse cases ever in running the rescue. This was Chester. I started receiving calls a week prior, and I was told from this resident in this apartment complex that she knew there were 2 small black puppies there. And she heard crying and thumping and hard banging and yelling, and she was concerned. So I reached out to the police and asked for help. They told me that they were aware of this apartment and I needed to kind of stand back for a little bit and let them work on this. So that's what I did, until about 1 week later, when I received another call, and it sounded from this particular neighbor like it was life or death. And I knew I couldn't wait. So I had a particular friend on the Speedway Police Department who you see in this picture. Her name is Officer Marantha, and she's an awesome gal. And I called her and asked her if she would go with me over there. And next thing I know, I have several police officers there, and I am there. And we knock on the door, the police did. And the guy actually answers the door with the crack pipe, still smoking. And long story short, there was Chester laying soaking wet on the couch. And after walking through the apartment, we had seen they were actually using, trying to train Chester to dog bite. And he actually had 2 back broken legs from that. And the friend of mine, Mara Lee, who was the president of the Hendricks County Humane Society at the time, she stepped up to foster Chester. after that and ultimately adopted him. And Chester spent the following 2 years educating teens and other people on responsible pet ownership. And he is still living a marvelous life.
That's great. So here's some other shots of people that have adopted the animals. Why don't you kind of go through one at a time and tell the backstories?
Okay, well, on the top, there is the white husky Cooper. And he was adopted by the Duncan family after he was abandoned in a garage, actually by a pretty famous IU football player. But he is living the life now and so happy. And we have still up on top Newt. And Newt was adopted by Brett. And Newt, unfortunately, he was found as a stray. And somebody had decided to basically give Newt their own home ear crop version at home on him. So he did have to ultimately be rushed into surgery when he was found to prepare and fix his ears, just so he looked okay to make it through life. And it didn't look very choppy. On the bottom is Lori in the red sweatshirt. She adopted Rio and Shay, who were with us for 4 years, blue-nosed bully and a white bully. And they were adopted after 4 years in a really, really rough life. The couple on the bottom in the red coat is a wonderful couple in Virginia. And they adopted Chip and Dale. And yes, they obviously had a female foster. And Chip and Dale were unfortunately abandoned by their humans, which was a divorce. And they just divorced each other and apparently divorced the dogs and left them behind. And they came to us and they're doing really, really good now, but living in Virginia because we transported them there. This family was amazing, really amazing.
All right, so you've got Quincy, this beautiful dog here. He's an American Staffordshire Terrier. Is that right? A little bit of a tongue twister. Okay. And this was back in 2019. And the bald gentleman with the great beard in the Christmas card, his name is Mike. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this story?
Well, this is Quincy. Quincy, if you look at the middle picture, Quincy was 5 months old there. He was found outside the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He was just a puppy. And one of the blue shirt security guards, they're the security guards that are on pretty much 24/7. And one of those security guards witnessed some teenagers kicking Quincy. And he left his post and he went right over there and grabbed Quincy and called me or the rescue. And he held on to Quincy until we got him. And we took Quincy to the vet. And ultimately, the teenagers that were kicking Quincy damaged his ears so terribly. Quincy is now 100% deaf. But Mike, the gentleman in the Christmas card with Quincy and the other dog Spence, stepped up and adopted Quincy right on the spot. It was love at first sight. Ultimately, Mike has passed away just this past last year. So both dogs, Quincy and the black dog Spence in the picture, have went to family. So they're still in the family and with Mike's sister. And it's a really beautiful story with Quincy.
All right. So here's a few different ones that we could discuss. Who's the little adorable white dog in the bandana?
That would be Sammy. Sammy is on the bottom two side pictures. And he was tossed out from a speeding car in Meadowood Park which is located here in Speedway. They tossed Sammy out in front of probably 200 to 300 people. We were having a concert in the park that night at Meadowood Park. There were probably 5, 6 police cars right on scene when they did this. Unfortunately, they did get away, and we tried our best to find them, but we could not. Sammy suffered. He was in a soft dog carrier. So when they threw him out of the speeding car, I mean, it was, they might as well have just thrown him out by himself. And it broke his spine in many areas. So Sammy had to have his spine completely rebuilt. He was adopted by his foster family, who's a Speedway firefighting family here in Speedway. And he's doing really good, as you can see in the pictures.
And that's the thing I guess a lot of people need to realize is that somebody, if an animal, you just had a couple puppies that had broken legs that they also spoke about on the news, but everything's coming out of the pocket of Speedway Animal Rescue. And that's, I mean, it's not like insurance is picking up the bill. So that could be a lot of money can be gone through very quickly for these animals. And here's a shot of a family that they essentially adopted this dog. And what's the dog's name that the little blonde girl is giving a hug to?
This dog is Hank, and Hank was found at a Indianapolis fire department. He literally walked right in, and he's just a little chihuahua of a thing. And he just was shaking. He was petrified. And I sent a volunteer over there to pick Hank up. And he immediately went to the Jarretts, who fostered him, who less than a week later, I would say about 72 hours later, called us and said that he would not be leaving their family ever again, ever. So they did adopt Hank. And as you can see, Hank is one very happy boy.
And then here's a shot of you 18 years ago for your very first event to raise money in a park. And was that in Leonard Park, or what park was this?
Yes, that was Leonard Park, located behind our old Speedway police station and fire station. Correct.
So looking back now, it's been 18 years. You've helped save a lot of different animals. What do you really want people to know about not just the efforts that you're putting forth, but what they should keep in mind and why they should also donate?
I think everyone should keep in mind that the problem isn't going away. In fact, it's worse than it ever has been. We can blame it on COVID if we want. I think that was just the little push that people needed, honestly. A lot of people really suffered during the COVID time. And it opened our eyes to what we already knew was a big problem to now is it's absolutely, it's out of control. And everybody, I am telling you, I could not have done this without my town's help. Every single resident has stepped up almost. Speedway is a town filled with every other home, if not almost every home, has a dog or a cat in it, or a bunny, or a snake, or a bird, or a fish. And we love our animals here in Speedway. And I want to be like sugar. I want to sprinkle it on top of every county that we can. It's a problem, and it's not going to go away by people looking away. And the one thing I think that you can do to help is donate. If you can't donate to me, donate to your local rescue. I am telling you, we're really hurting. So just remember, you can be part of the solution. And it's great because you can watch your investment grow, get healthy, and go to a family that will love it forever. And you took part in that. And that's something that you can pat yourself on the back. That's a good thing.
Well, that's great. Well, just as a reminder, we've got this big event. It's coming up. Rich Hardesty is going to be there. Alistair Jr., he's going to be there. Patty Spittler, she's also going to be there supporting. It's going to start at 6 o'clock on the 11th, which is a Saturday. I know KJ's looking forward to getting some of the people to tell some great stories. I will as well. And here's a shot of, just so people can get an idea of where it's located. It's right across from the track, right on Georgetown Road. You could come south on Georgetown to 20th right there, or you can come from 16th and go past the roundabout and go up on Cord Road to 20th and hang a left. That'll bring you around. But again, the website is speedwayanimalrescue.org. There's a lot of good information there, and people can donate directly. And again, I really appreciate your time, Joanie, and your life dedication. And your daughter would be very proud of how you're going to continue this on. And Anna's going to help with that mission and the rest of the volunteers. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Well, I just want to say, Sean, thank you for coming into my life. I believe God put you there at the right time. Thank you with all my heart. The animals, thank you with all their heart. And as I always say, being kind to animals makes this world a better place.
Well, again, thank you very much for your time. And I'm looking forward to the event. And a lot of people should come out. Again, it's American Legion Speedway, 6 p.m., February 11th. It's going to be a great time. And Rich Hardesty is going to put on one heck of a show.
Always.
All right.
Thank you, Sean.
You got it.